Greetings Magic players, this is Steve of Untapped Games, and today we're going to open a booster box of Ixalan, the newest set in Magic. We're just going to go through the entire box, pack by pack. We're going to take a look at the rares. The first column I'm just going to go through sort of slowly, and as usual, this video is going to have a contest at the end, so if you go to the end you can see how to enter that contest or check the description below. Alright, so let's look at what Ixalan's about. This is a really cool set. The flavor is just like bang on, really cool. We've got a tribal theme going on. There's pirates, there's dinosaurs, which are two underserved tribes. I don't know if there's any dinosaurs, but there haven't been pirates in Magic in any sort of real amount for a while. Opt got reprinted, so Opt is now modern legal. We have Foil Vanquish of the Week and a Rampaging Ferocidon here. So that's Menace 3/3, players can't gain life whenever another creature enters the battlefield. Rampaging Ferocidon deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. Alright, my foil here. Okay. The other two tribes are vampires, and they have kind of a conquistador theme, and merfolk, who they sort of have like an Atlantis kind of a theme, which I guess merfolk usually do. Repeating Barrage, 1 and 2 red for a sorcery that reads Repeating Barrage deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and it has a new mechanic called Raid. So for 3 and 2 red, return Repeating Barrage from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if you attacked with a creature this turn. So it's a little bit like Hammer of Bogarden, but it uses the Raid ability, which is common in pirates in this set. So pirates will be doing a lot of barraging. Let's put our red over here. As we start running into repeats, we'll do things faster. Sorceress Spyglass, it's a 2-cost artifact. As Sorceress Spyglass enters the battlefield, look at opponent's hand, then choose any card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So it's a little similar to Pithing Needle. Put that there. Also got a foil Fiery Cannonade. Emperor's Vanguard, 3 and a green for a human scout. Whenever Emperor's Vanguard deals combat damage to a player, it explores. It's a 4/3. So explores is a new mechanic. It's in a few different creature types. A few different tribes. Pretty much every tribe except for Dinosaurs has explore. So reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land, otherwise put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. So it either draws you a card or it lets you pseudo scry and pump a creature with a +1/+1 counter, which, you know, it seems a little confusing, but once you play it once or twice, it's actually incredibly useful. So that was really good in Limited. The Explorer cards were very useful in Limited. Okay. We got Boneyard Parley. That is a mythic rare. It's 5 and 2 black. Exile up to 5 target creature cards from graveyards. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put all cards from the pile of your choice onto the battlefield under your control, and the rest into their owners' graveyards. So it's an interesting sort of graveyard fact or fiction sort of. Not quite as impactful, but because it's a sorcery, you can't just do it at the end of your opponent's turn and then win next turn. And you can only get creatures. Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, you can only get creatures. My bad. So it's very specialized, but it'd be cool to see if there's some sort of special combo that can be made out of that. Somebody's gonna brew something up, I'm sure. We got Drowned Catacomb, which is a dual land. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. Oh, we also have these treasure cards. They're little tokens that you can tap, sacrifice them, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. They're very similar to gold from Theros block. The difference being that there is stuff in this that specifically keys off of treasure, especially for pirates. There's an enchantment, I believe, that lets you win if you have 10 or more treasure. So there's other cards that let you sack treasures for drawing a card. So yeah. Lightning Strike got reprinted. Sword Point Diplomacy. It's 2 and a black for sorcery. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. For each of those cards, put that card into your hand unless any opponent pays 3 life. Then exile the rest. I haven't really seen any big creatures yet, but there's a lot of big creatures in this set. I guess Rampaging Ferocidon's kind of, not really, it's 3/3. Alright, Vanquisher's Banner. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. And it's 5 for an artifact. So it's a similar, it's like a coat of arms type effect, but with some card draw. And keep going. Alright, to Katli Honor Guard. It's 1 and a white for a human soldier. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger, and it's a 1/3. So it sort of hates on ETB abilities, of which there are many in this set, by the way. Well, I suppose there's a lot in every set, but in pre-release I noticed there was a lot of really cool ETB abilities. Sun Petal Grove, this is another dual land. Dowsing Dagger, this one's pretty cool. So it's a 2-cost artifact. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 2/0/2 green plant creature tokens with Defender. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may transform Dowsing Dagger. So yeah, there's flip cards in this set. The equip cost is 2. On the other side, we have Lost Veil. So Lost Veil is a land. You can tap to add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. So very good, actually. I mean, it was very good in limited. I don't know what it's going to do in standard, if anything. And yeah, these are the checklist cards for this set, so that you can play in draft without necessarily having sleeves. Although I always sleeve in draft, so. But somebody who didn't bring sleeves didn't want to pony up for a set of sleeves could just use those. Marker. Old Growth Dryads. It's a 3/3 Dryad for 1 mana, 1 green mana. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle his or her library. So you ramp your opponent in exchange for an undercosted creature. There may be something, I don't know. That's an awfully risky strategy, especially against like control, because all they need is mana to stop you from doing anything else after that. Speaking of control, Spell Swindle, 3 and 2 blue for an instant counter target spell. Create X colorless treasure artifact tokens. So we saw that before. Where X is that spell's converted mana cost. They have tap to sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So yeah, we already looked at treasures. This is kind of like an expensive mana drain, but instead of having to just use that mana, on your next turn, you can just have that mana sort of sit around and be open for you. So it's a very interesting set because pirates use treasure, of course, and pirates are in the Crixus colors. So Crixus actually has really solid ramp and color fixing because of treasure. So whereas green is usually the, ooh, I see something cool coming up, the corner of my eye here. First, River's Rebuke, 4 and 2 blue. Sorcery, return all non-land permanents target player controls to their owner's hand. And I got a foil Conqueror's Galleon. This is gonna be, it's a flip vehicle, so I think this is the first flip, yeah, this is the first flip vehicle we've ever seen. When Conqueror's Galleon attacks, exile it at the end of combat, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control, and it's a crew 4 for a 2/10. On the other side, it's Conqueror's Foothold. Transforms from Conqueror's Galleon, tap to add a colorless to your mana pool. For 2 and tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. For 4 and tap it, draw a card. For 6 and tap it, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a nice little Swiss Army knife. Drawing cards is just incredibly good, and it's not that hard to crew an attack with it. This is part of a cycle of artifacts and enchantments that flip into lands, and they require some work to get to, but the payoff's usually pretty good. I'm gonna put that right there because that's sort of in frame there. So anyways, as I was saying, whereas green is usually the one and only ramp color, red, blue, and black all have a certain amount of ramp in treasure in this set. So it's interesting. Priest of the Wakening Sun. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand. If you do, you gain 2 life. And for 3 and 2 white, sacrifice Priest of the Wakening Sun, search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And it is a 1/1 for 1. So dinosaurs are in the Naya colors in this set. So white usually represent these dino worshipping sort of Aztec inspired civilization. And so you got a lot of humans who are in white and green, and then the dinosaurs are in red and green. And then there's like a dino avatar that's in the set that's all 3 colors. This set's really flavorful. I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but I think they hit it out of the park with this set. It's kind of everything that I wish Battle for Zendikar had been. Charging Monster Sword was insane and limited. Fanatic Compass, we got another flip card here. 2-cost artifact. 3 and tap it. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform Fanatic Compass. On the other side, it is Spires of Araska. Let me get my thumb out of the way. It taps for a colorless and untap target attacking creature opponent controls and remove it from combat if you tap it. So it's like a Maze of Ith. So great control card there. You can stop their biggest attacker from doing anything until you can draw removal for it, and then rinse, repeat. Oh, Air Elemental's back. It's a card from my childhood. My first deck had Air Elementals in it. Arcane Adaptation, 2 and a blue. Arcane Adapt is an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. This is kind of like makes everything in the same tribe, so you can get tribal effects of your choice. We got Deathgore Scavenger, 2 and a green for a dinosaur. It's 3/2. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile a target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, you gain 2 life. If a non-creature card is exiled this way, Deathgore Scavenger gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Nice graveyard hate, aggro graveyard hate card. Okay, Herald of the Secret Streams, 3 and a blue for Merfolk Warrior, 2/3 creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. Merfolk kind of have an interesting strategy in this set where they try to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on their stuff, either with Explore or with other means. And he just like lets you swing with team after he comes into play. Vraska's Contempt, 2 and 2 black for an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life. So it's an expensive kill spell, but it just pretty much kills everything and gets you a little bit of life for it. Okay, we got Tishana, Voice of Thunder. It's part of a cycle of leaders. I wouldn't call them lords because they don't all give things +1/+1, but there's a bunch of legendary leaders for the different factions. This one is for Merfolk, so 5, a green and a blue. Merfolk Shaman, Tishana's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. When she enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control, and she's a star. So, pretty cool. Yeah, I'll put the multicolor over there. Bishop of Rebirth, 3 and 2 white, Vampire Cleric, 3/4, Vigilance. When it attacks, you may return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So sort of like a weak Sun Titan. Very weak Sun Titan. Doesn't do it when it ETBs, but... Fanatic Compass again. We're more than halfway through this box, so I'm going to try to speed up a little bit. I haven't really seen any... I guess we've seen one mythic, so I'm expecting something good. Come on, box, don't let me down. Oh, hey, here's something. This is probably the best mythic I could have gotten. It's 4 and 2. It's a Carnage Tyrant, 4 and 2 green. Carnage Tyrant can't be countered. 7/6, trample hexproof, dinosaur. Yeah, it's really hard to deal with. Just stick that right into any ramp deck and close the game out with a trample hexproof. It's very difficult. Yeah, unless they have some sort of sack ability. Then, you know, causing you to sacrifice a creature, that guy's just going to take over the game because he's bigger than most things, and chances are you'll have more dinosaurs to play alongside him. Great card. Captivating Crew, 3 in a red. Human Pirate. For 3 in a red, you can gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Activate this ability only anytime you cast a sorcery. And it's a 4/3. So basically, it's a Act of Treason on a pretty big stick. And let's go. Rootbound Crag, it's another land. We got a foil Steadfast Armasaur. I love that card, by the way, Steadfast Armasaur. It's a Stegosaurus. It's Vigilance 2/3. You could tap some mana and turn it on its side, and it hits with its tail by turning on its side. Because it deals damage equal to its toughness to target creature blocking or blocked by it. I just thought that was really cool. Neat little bit of like flavor and mechanics lining up just so. We got Vona Butcher of Magan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Somebody will tell me in the comments. 3, a white, and a black for a Vampire Knight. This is another one of the leaders. Vigilance, lifelink, 4/4. Tap to pay 7 life. Destroy target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only during your turn. Seems pretty good to me. Just paying life to destroy permanents in colors and a tribe specifically known for life gain. And you're really paying 4. You're really paying 3 life there because he's a 4/4 Vigilance lifelinker. So you just attack with him. You know you're going to get 4 of your 7 back. Cian Ollie's Skin Shifter. This is a cool card. 2 and a red for a human shaman with haste. Whenever it attacks, it becomes a copy of another target non-legendary attacking creature until end of turn. And it's a 0/1. So you attack with team, and you can benefit from some tribal effects, or you can just benefit from the largest creature on your board. So yeah. Dragon Skull Summit, another dual land. Pile of lands over here that's falling apart. Fleet Swallower, 5 and 2 blue for a 6/6 fish. Whenever Fleet Swallower attacks, target player puts the top half of his or her library rounded up into his or her graveyard, and it's 6/6 fish. I played this in pre-release. I was a little underwhelmed by it. It did win me a game, but you want, when you're paying 7 mana, it better win a game. It's clunky that it just causes you to tap out, and then it just sits there and waits for them to remove it. Detta Attractor, black for a 1/1 for 1 and a black, you can tap it, exile 2 target cards from an opponent's graveyard, Deadeye Tracker Explorers. So that's some constant exploration that can be going on. It's kind of like Outlast a little bit, the way that works, because you're paying and then tapping it. Outlast being from the Khans of Tarkir block. Ooh, here, Revel Enriches. 4 and a black, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with, what treasures have on them. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. I was talking about that before. It's really cool. I'm wondering whether that will see any kind of play in Standard, because the thing is, you don't need to cast that early. You can just create a deck that makes treasures for the purpose of just ramping, and then cast Revel in Riches, and you can just win out of nowhere. Unless they have enchantment removal before the beginning of your upkeep. We got Marauding Looter. Wait, where's my... Oh, that's weird. I did not switch that up. I got my foil before I got my rare there. 3, and this is Vance's Blasting Cannons. Vance's Blasting Cannons. It's 3 and a red for a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast that card this turn. Whenever you cast your 3rd spell in a turn, you may transform Vance's Blasting Cannons. And on the other side, it is Spitefire Bastion. It's a legendary land. Tap it to add a red to your mana pool. And for 2 and a red, you can tap it to deal 3 damage to target creature or player. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. It's more interesting, though, to me that that little transposition of the rare and the foil. Wonder if they're... What's going on at this factory here, Wizards? Savage Sound. Regisaur Alpha. I had 2 of these in my deck in 2-headed giant this weekend. 3, a red and a green. It's a 4/4 dinosaur. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. When it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. Yeah, he's really good. Just so much value. Alright, Dreamcaller Siren, 2 and 2 blue for a Siren Pirate, flash 3/3 flying. It can only block creatures with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, if you control another pirate, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. This has obviously a lot of stats, so it was pretty cool and limited. There was just the fact that it's a 3/3 with flying is good, because flying creatures are good and limited. But the fact that you can just kind of get them with the tap ability, playing it in a pirate's deck seems pretty good. And this is the last one. Bloodcrazed Paladin, 1 in a black. It's another flash creature. When it enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn, and it's a 1/1 to start with, Vampire Knight. So it's kind of a game finisher type. It's a 2-drop game finisher, because you can play that after a board wipe, or you can play that after a board stall has been cleared by a bunch of trades. Just have a humongous paladin ready to slay. So that was this booster box. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Highlight of the booster box was definitely the Carnage Tyrant right there. But I got some other cool cards. I liked the Revel and Riches, and Spell Swindle seemed pretty great too. So if you liked this video, please remember to check out our site. untappedgames.com, and we're having a contest that you should also check out. The rules for the contest are in the description below. It's similar to the other contests that we've had, so I recommend checking out the description down there and signing up. We're going to be giving away a booster box of Ixalan. We're going to split it in two. Not literally split it, but we're going to take, it's going to be 18 packs per winner, and give 2 random people who won the contest are going to get 18 packs each of this set, Ixalan. And for details on how to participate, check out the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care.